Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and we are like over halfway through November, which means it's almost December. And there's something happened in December that you have probably heard about, probably because I am one of the last people to do video about it. But there is a new readathon. In fact, this one is a rereadathon, and it is the Remember December readathon. And this was created by Elizabeth at Bokens and Books and Anna and Novella, and there are a number of other hosts, all of whom I will link down below. And the goal of this readathon is to get you to reread something. I am someone who always says I'm going to reread, but I very rarely do. There are reasons about that, which you will have seen if you've seen, by this point, last week's update when I get all therapeutic. But I am definitely doing this. All you have to do is to reread one book. But if you want to have the full experience, the hosts have come up with 3 prompts that you could do if you choose. Now, it just so happened that I had to reread a book this month anyway, for a specific reason, so this worked out perfectly. I love this rereadathon. I hope it happens every year. So let's go over the 3 prompts, and I will tell you what I am reading for each one. The first one is, okay, these are not the order that I have them stacked. So this is just the order that I have them stacked. The first one is reread a book to find out how you feel about it. It could be something that you read in the past and you hated, and do you like it better now? Or maybe something that you loved in the past and you want to see if you still love it. So I have a book that I read about a year ago, and it's going to be the January book from my library book club, so I need to reread it. And that is The Seed Keeper by Diane Wilson. When I read this book last year, it was a 5-star book. I love this book. And I do expect to still enjoy this book and love this book, but will it be 5 stars? I am very, very stingy with my 5-star ratings. In fact, really the highest I generally go, I'm going to hold this up there. I'm going to put it down now. The highest I go with my ratings is generally 4.5 because that equivalates to an A+ in my mind. And 5 stars are reserved for best book ever in my mind. Like very few. I've only given so far this year only 4 5-star books. So is this one still worthy of a 5-star rating? We'll see. Again, I still expect to really enjoy this book. I just don't know if it's still going to reach that point. So the next one I'm going to talk about, which I don't know if is the next one on the prompt list because I didn't plan that well, is yes, reread a book you've basically forgotten. When I was in college, between my junior and senior years, I did a summer term in England. We were at Cambridge University at Christ College, although the classes were taught by professors from my school, and they taught 3 classes. You chose 2. And the 2 I took were like the English working novel and the Brontes. So in the Brontes class, we read all of the Bronte novels, except The Professor, but I read that one on my own. Now, I remember with great clarity, because I've read them several times since, Wuthering Heights, Tenant of Vaudeville Hall, Agnes Grey, and Jane Eyre. I remember this. They're good. But what about Charlotte Bronte's other books? Well, I cannot tell you anything, even though I've read them, anything about Villette, Shirley, or The Professor. So I pulled Villette off my shelves. This is my copy from that class. It still has my little Charlotte Bronte bookmark that I got at Haworth. It has my notes. I have some annotations in this, so I know I read it. Couldn't tell you anything about it. So I'm going to reread this. However, I am not rereading this particular copy because the print is hella small and the pages are starting to yellow, and the contrast between the print and the page and the font size makes it really hard for me to read. So I will be reading this on my Kobo, which means I could have also used this for the next prompt, but I'm not going to. Not going to double up. So the next book is to reread a book in a different way. So this could be read it in a different format. So if you read it, listen to it. Angelia, I know, is reading a book that she's read many times. She's doing it in graphic format. It could be if you read a book in translation and you speak the language, you can read the language that it was translated from, read it in that language. It could be anything. And I had a great plan for this. I have recently finished the Ruth Galloway series by Ellie Griffiths and loved it. It's my comfort series. So I thought I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to all these on audio. best laid plans, because apparently, for reasons that I don't know, you cannot get the audio versions until like book 5 or 6 of those books in the United States. I don't know why. In fact, I'm pretty sure I used to be able to get them through my library. They're not there anymore. I have a friend who recently got one from a library, recently, like last 5 months, 5-6 months, got one from a library, but she's in a different library system, and I don't know if her library system still has them. Libro doesn't have them. Audible doesn't have them, so I don't know what to do. I don't want to start with whatever book it starts with. So I scrapped the Ruth Galloway series, and I am instead going to return to my beloved Agatha. And as you know, I am reading Agatha Christie books roughly in order of publication. I will jump forward ahead if I need to. I'm not really tied to it. But I'm going to go back to her very first novel, which is The Mysterious Ferret Styles. And I'm going to listen to this. And if it is an enjoyable experience, I may just continue doing that. So I'm about a third of the way into her books now. So there'll be a lag, but I can still listen to them. The version that I got from Libro of this book this is a William Morrow book. No, this is Vintage, which I think is owned by William Morrow. Anyway, it's the audiobook that matches this edition, and it is narrated by Hugh Fraser, who, if you watch the Perot series, he played Hastings. I've heard he's really good at the narration of this. And he's just actually a really good audiobook narrator anyway. So that's what I'm going to do for that prompt. Those are my 3 rereads. I will link below, if I remember, last week's update where I got a little vulnerable about things that part of it was rereading. So I don't know. If you're brave, go watch it. Otherwise, are you doing Remember December? If so, what are you reading? I'd love to hear it. Leave me a comment below, like, subscribe. Feel free to join my I want to say Patreon. I do not have a Patreon. My Discord. The information is down below, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Thank you.